Hey guys, welcome back to baby names I love but will not be using instead of we love, because we don't love any of these names. These are all names that I liked and we will not be using because my partner is very hard to name babies with. He's very specific. So if you haven't seen the girl one yet, the girl video is linked down below here for you guys. I wanted to wear blue for this one. I don't have any blue shirts that I really care for, or they're like super low cut, so I just went and stole this out of Luke's closet. So I'm gonna wear his shirt for this. If you don't know us, we're having a baby girl, so these are names that we obviously won't be using because we are not using them for our daughter. However, I'm sharing all of these because we are no longer having kids after this. She is our last one, 100%. And so all the names that I've kind of had just here, I wanted to get out there and share with you guys. So that's why I am doing a boy name list, because these are officially retired off my list because we are done so thank you guys so much for coming by, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, this name I actually really like. I want to say it could be unisex technically, but I would have used it for a boy. This is actually a last name in my family, so I love last names as first names. I also love place names as well. But it is the name Bowen, and I actually know a little girl named Bowie, so this technically could work either way. Again, Bowen to me sounds, for me, more like I could name my son that, and I think it's a really cool name. I don't know any Bowens, but it's not one of those names that is strange, and I feel like if you said it, I could completely spell it with no problem. So that's the first one, and again, family last name for me on my mother's side, and I just think it's really cool. The next name for a boy is the name Ridge. We actually, this would have been like really high up there if we were having a boy. It was one of the first names that we said like we really like this, and actually Luke liked. This is the only one that Luke actually liked, I think. There might be one more that he actually liked as well, but this name came about because I don't remember what we were watching, but I heard it and I'm like, wow, I love that. My only issue with Ridge is that I don't really see it for a baby. I more see it for like a middle school age and up. But I think it's a handsome name for an older guy. The next name is the name Manning. This was on a list somewhere. I thought it was kind of cool. I want to say this is a town name in Iowa, maybe not, I'm not really sure. But also, again, a last name, very popular, like sports last name, like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning type name. And my partner Luke, he is 100% a sports person, so I'm like, oh, he'd like that. He didn't like it at all, so joke's on me, but I think Manning's a really cool name. This name I kind of saw on a baby name list. I kind of liked it at first because I thought it was different, and then the more I saw it, I'm like, ugh, so I just put it on the list we're not using. I do like it, but I just couldn't picture myself having a child named that, if that makes sense. But I do like the name. It's the name Haddon. I'm familiar with the name Madden, but Haddon came up on a list of boy names, and I'm not really sure what it was themed around. But I saw it, and I'm like, I really kind of do like that, because it sounds, I don't know, it just kind of sounds masculine, and I can see it for a small child and an older adult, and I do feel like, again, it's one that everyone can spell, and it's not so out there that you're like, what is your name type situation. So it's on the list. I wouldn't have used it personally, but for some reason I'm drawn to this name for some reason. The next name is the name Kale, which I heard watching the movie Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf like a long time ago. I can't remember. I think this movie came out when I was in high school, which has been quite a while. And Kale's very popular for my specific taste, but for some reason I feel like I would have actually used this name. And the only problem that I had with it was, for one, Luke wasn't fond of it, but for two, I didn't know how to spell it. I was looking online trying to figure out how you spelled it. I did not want to spell it like the lettuce, like the K-A-L-E. So C-A-L-E came up quite a bit, and then like C-A-E-L came up. And I thought that just kind of looked, I wasn't sure. I just did not, something about it, I just wanted to spell it the most correct way, but not like the lettuce. Anyway, again, we're not having a boy, but I actually really did like this name. The next name was my #1 choice for the baby if she had been a boy. Y'all, I'm having the worst heartburn right now. I'm 17 weeks pregnant, and I'm having the world's worst heartburn. Like, I cannot I don't know what in the world. So sorry if you see me struggling, that's what it is. But yes, if I had named this baby on my own and it was a boy, he would 100% be named Boston. I've never been to Boston, so like there's nothing like connecting me there, like I'm not from there. But Luke's parents actually loved this name. They were totally on board for it. Luke hates it, and I don't understand why. He said he does not like the place sounding names, and he has literally vetoed every place sounding name. So he never would have agreed to it, let's put it that way. And I love it. I think it is absolutely adorable. I can see it for a young child. I can see it for like an adult. I can see it for a grandpa. I think the name is gorgeous. Please use it if you have a Boston. You're so lucky. It was my #1 choice. I thought for sure that would have been the name. And yeah, no, not happening. Next name, love this name. It goes in with my other kids' names because they do have like last names as first names type names, but it is the name Renner. And obviously Jeremy Renner is the actor that comes to mind first. We can't use this name because it is very similar to Luke's last name. So it'd be like he almost had the same name kind of back to back. But I like that you can call him Ren for short. But Renner to me sounds like an athlete's name. It sounds like an athlete. I don't know. It sounds like an athletic name to me. That's probably silly, but I love the name Ren. I much prefer Ren for a boy's name because I grew up watching Footloose with Kevin Bacon, so it was kind of ingrained in me that Ren was a boy name. I know that Ren is very popular for girls right now, and again, it's still gorgeous, but for me, I would want it as a boy name. And so Renner just fits the bill. I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I've never met a Renner, and I know it's not popular unless it is, and I just don't know about it. I want to say it wasn't in the top 1,000 when I looked, so this is a really good name for those of you who are last name lovers. Love it. It's gorgeous. This is another one that's a last name, could be a first name. It re-sparked in me when I read a Colleen Hoover book. I actually told someone about this name when I was pregnant with the twins. I liked it, and my ex-husband did not like it, and I told her about it, and that's actually their son's name now. And so I'd forgotten all about this name, and then I read a Colleen Hoover book called Reminders of Him, and lo and behold, the love interest in this book's name was Ledger. And so again, last name is first name, and I feel like Ledger is going to go up in the charts. It's a really, really cool name. It sounds so edgy to me. Obviously, people will think of Heath Ledger maybe, but I feel like he was adored by many people. And so I think this is a really, really good choice for a name. Okay, last one before I go to my honorable mentions. This name, again, last name, could be used as a first name. Not one that I think I actually would have used, but I did kind of throw it out there kind of in desperation when Luke wasn't liking anything else. But it is the name Decker. And I think it's a cool name. However, I wouldn't want him to be called Deck for short. And so, I don't know. I don't vibe with Deck as well as I do Decker. Even Declan, I really like that name as well. I've never met a Decker, but I do feel like it's in that group of last names that sounds really cool and like athletic kind of for a first name. And so again, great name. Please use it. It's awesome. My 3 honorable mentions are ironically all way more common names that might surprise you. The first is Warren. I like this name. I think Warren sounds very, very cool. There's just something about it that sounds well-rounded to me, young to old. Also, Warren ends in Ren. I would have definitely called him Ren. Luke thought it sounded too dated, which is interesting because his son's name is extremely traditional, and so it's a stark contrast to mine. So I thought Warren was going to be like a no-brainer. He would like it. No. The other one is Brooks. Brooks has skyrocketed. I know so many people who have kids named Brooks. I see it all the time. And again, it is gorgeous. I see why it is very popular. I feel like it's more of a nature name to think of like a water, like a brook. But to me, it also sounds very athletic. And I was trying to go for names that sounded athletic because Luke is such an athletic type person and has that love for sports. So I just felt like that would be the key to get him to agree on one, is to go that route. And no. But I love the name Brooks. I think it's great. And then the last one, the last name for boys that I love. Actually, this is kind of a twofer, and it's kind of like one of those things where I hear the first name and I love it. Then I hear the last name and I'm like, ooh, that would work really well too. I'm always like looking at people's last names to get a baby name out of it. But after the rise of Top Gun coming back out, or the, what do you call it, like the sequel to Top Gun coming out, this name for sure will be top 20 in the next year or two. But obviously the name Miles for one, I love him as an actor. He ironically played in the Footloose remake, and as a Footloose original lover, I was so excited, and that's where I first started liking Miles Teller as an actor. Was, I think it was 2009 when the Footloose remake came out. So the name Miles, I think, is great. And again, it's one of those things where it could be a last name, could be a first name, everyone can spell it. I think it's great. But then I was like, Teller sounds cool as like a last name as a first name. I think Teller sounds like right in line with other surnames that you would hear. So I think somebody should use the name Teller for a first name for their son. I don't know what it is about it. It just speaks to me. Like, you know, you hear names and you're like, I don't like that. But then you hear one and you're like, that might actually work as a name. And so that's kind of how I felt whenever I was looking at names and thought about Miles Teller for some reason. He was in something that I was watching. And I'm like, his last name is cool. Luke was like, no, not a thought. He was like, I love it or hate it and I just don't like it. But guys, someone use that. I'm sure you will be ahead of the naming curve if you go with Teller. That's going to be all for this video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming back to watch it. If you have not seen the girls list yet, go down below, check out the girls list. I will have it linked for you guys. If you're here for any reason and you're having a boy and you're just casually here, please comment your girl names. We are literally nowhere close to finding a baby name, and I'm just ready to kind of get a list going. And so I'm begging all of you boy moms that might be here watching this to send me your girl name list you might have used had your baby been a girl, because I'm just trying to like scour the internet for names, and nothing has really come to me that I love and that my partner loves. And so please comment it below. I would love you guys forever if y'all helps me name this baby. But thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.